All right, welcome. We're live here at the 2019 Syosset Open LPRT and IRT event. We've got our round of 16 match between Mexico and Mexico. Montse Mejia taking on the #1 ranked player on tour, Paola Longoria. Montse served first. Montse in the pink shirt. She also earns the first point, 1 serving 0. Time that these Mejia won. This was at the Mexican Nationals. So as I was saying earlier, as the last time these two paired up against each other in Mexican Nationals, which was the end of February this year, Montse came out ahead. She won in the tiebreaker. So Longoria is coming out fighting on this match, and Montse wants a repeat. Two serving 3. Side out, Mejia in the box. Mejia just out of juniors. She was a junior world champion in November. Young player, young up-and-coming player from Mexico. She's also had a lot of experiences in doubles as well with partner Alexandra Herrera. Those two have been Mexican national champion doubles team already, as well as junior world doubles champion. 5 serving 2. Skip the ball there by Montse Mejia, 2 serving 5. Longoria in the service box. All right, thank you for the correction there. In 2 games, 15-14, Montse won. Just a solid game. Montse is so tough in the front of the court. She's got great hands, great pinch shots, and she's good at taking an off-speed shot. Smart player too, really knows the game and can adjust her game very well. We have our first little bit back live in Syosset, New York. All right, we're back after timeout. This is game 1. LPRT rules are a best out of 5 games. Games 2 11, win by 2. This is game number 1. Montse Mejia leads 6-2. Longoria gets a side out and is now in the service box. The referee calls 2 bounces. Longoria earned. Mejia gets back. Ooh. And she earns another quick point, 7-2. Nice off-speed shot by Longoria. Pinch it to that left corner for a side out. Longoria back in the box, 2 serve 7. Very smooth play, tough serve, weak return. Montse puts the ball away into those front corners. She hits both sides very well. She's gonna hit an off-speed shot up there. Down the line by Longoria for a side out, 2 serves 8. Good ball. Unforced error by Longoria. She took an overhead. She doesn't do too often. Mejia in the box, serving it 8-2. Short serve called, so second serve coming up. Tough, good footwork. Both of these players have exceptionally good footwork. Just quick, short moves, quick feet. They're both on the balls of their feet. Good anticipation. So following this round of 16 match, we have some mixed pro doubles coming up that we'll be streaming on this court. If you haven't taken a look at the mixed pro draw this weekend, it is incredible. 20 teams. That's 20 matchups between LPRT and IRT players. And I will tell you, looking through this list, there are probably 10 teams that could all be seeded number one. The number one seeds are Maria Jose Vargas and Alejandro Landa, Alex Landa. But there is quite a field vying for the title here in Syosset. Our first mixed pro doubles match that we'll put on this court will be Paola Longoria again. She'll pair up with no, wait, let me look here. Got it. Paola Longoria and Rodrigo Montoya will play Brenda Laime and Set Cobullos. And then the second match will be Jake Bredenbeck, Jasmine Sabha, Adriano Riveros, and Eduardo Garay. Two good mixed doubles matches. So back to this match, game point for Montse Mejia. Referee stopped play, I'm not sure what happened there. Longoria gets a side out, 2 serves 10. Point for Longoria, 3 serves 10. So what I think that last one might have been was a wet ball. These courts have been just a little damp this weekend. They've have humidifiers here in the club. They've also kept the doors open, blowing cold air here. But the floor and the walls have gotten a little bit wet, so we may see some wet ball calls, which will just be a replay. Wet balls on first surface touched off the side wall, off the front wall on a serve. Mejia shooting from the knees, gets a set up. It's another one. Oh boy, big setup. Skip ball into that front wall. Three serving 10. Short serve. Really good court coverage by both players. Again, both have great footwork. Really staying on the balls of their feet. If you watch, both have very quick feet. 4 serves 10. I'm going to say that's a replay because it hit the microphone in the court because I heard it hit. You probably heard it at home too. So we have an appeal. All right, just needed some clarification there on what the call was. So the referee actually, I mean, it was just an error. She called a wet ball during the rally, which that is not the rule. If it's a wet ball, it's first surface hit after the front wall on a serve. We got Mejia serving at game point at 10-4. Game one goes to Montse Mejia. We're live in Syosset, New York. Thank you for joining us in this great match. All right, welcome back. We're live in Syosset, New York. This is game number 2 in our round of 16 match. If you're just joining us, Montse Mejia won that first game. I'm TJ Bumball, Commissioner of the LPRT. I'm joined here with Freddie Ramirez, Director of Marketing and Development for the LPRT.
Hey TJ, this is turning out to be quite a match.
Well, I mean, we expected it. I mean, these are 2 phenomenal racquetball players.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think the first game was a matter of like who was making mistakes first, and it just seemed like they were both playing pretty solid. But Mejia is like playing solidly. She's making her shots. She's not rushing now. She's putting pressure on Paola. You could see the pressure towards the end of the first game. I mean, at 8-2, she was just making her play it out and, forcing her to skip, outlasting her during the volleys. To Paola's credit, she hasn't yet gotten flustered. I think she realizes it's a 5-game match, and, she's getting some advice from Fran in the corner. So, but you're starting to see it now. The pressure is starting to get to Paola, and I think she's known for kind of like turning it around. So we'll see.
You know what I would say too? I'll never count any player out.
No.
They have it's best out of 5 games. I've seen it go both ways. I mean, these players know it's 1 point at a time, 1 game at a time. No. They're never going to give up.
Paola's serving tough too.
trying to move Mejia out of that center court, out of the front where she's so good, so tough. So great hands. Longoria serving.
Wow, really nice soft hands. Montse just looks like she's really calm. She looks like,
Confident.
yeah, she's. Nice shot. Left that a little high, but I mean, even with that, she looks like she's ready.
So Mejia, the current Mexican national champion. Longoria, the current Pan-American champion. As well as Longoria is the current #1 player on tour.
Wow, great shot. Oh. Seems like she has an answer for everything Paola's sending her way.
So Longoria has an appeal here. She's asking for a 2-bounce Mejia, but that call stands. Both line judges agree with the referee.
Montse with a bit of mistake, little mistake there, kind of just leaving it in the middle. But during that rally, she's moving Paola around, making Paola work for her points.
One serving 3.
Wow. Like, there's not much you can do to that.
I mean, it wasn't a bad serve. It was a high nick that barely came off the back wall, but Mejia really great patience, and she handled it very well.
Took a little speed off, put it right where she needed it to be. Making gets. Wow. How patient was she in that during that rally?
4 serving 1. Ace serve. Longoria is asking for a wet ball on that serve. Longoria is going to appeal. Call stands. So I mean, it's hard to tell. I mean, that could have been a wet ball, but it's like the ball that serve caught the backcourt and just kind of shot out.
Yeah. It's really hard to tell on these courts. These courts, it's a little humid in the club, so that definitely has an effect on the bounce. Could be that Paola was kind of like looking for it, but it's hard to tell. 2-1 on the call.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure Coach Fran has told them to look out for that wet ball, knowing that the club is a little damp. The walls and floors are a little damp.
Paola finds herself down again in this game. 1 serving 5. Paola scores a point.
Just smile. It's okay.
Montse looking for a short serve. I think. Paola, maybe she can gain back some of that momentum she's been fighting to try to grab a hold of. Montse showing a ton of patience during that rally, gets herself back in the box. 5 serves 2. Drive serve to the backhand. Through the legs, leaves it up in the middle. That might have been a mistake. Yes, it was. Paola makes her pay. Drives the left side, finds herself in the serving box. 2 serves 5. Paola Longoria playing Montse Mejia, both Mexican players here in Syosset, New York. This is the first time these two have met. I'm sure TJ mentioned that the first game since the Mexican Nationals. Paola putting it deep in the left corner. Tricky shot for Montse. Paola in this game, 3 serves 5. Playing ceiling balls on the left side, and Montse buries it. Gets back in the box, 5 serves 3. She's showing an incredible amount of patience this match. A lot of confidence, putting the pressure on Paola. Paola's still pretty steady. I mean, she's trying to, it seems obvious that she's trying to figure out Montse here. She's playing so solidly. Short call on that. Montse, rightly so, appeals that. Gets the short call anyway. Paola showing good placement there, putting the ball right in front of her. Back in the box, 3 serves 5. Montse Mejia back in the serving box. 5 serves 3. Drive serve to the left side. Paola wraps her around and takes advantage and kills it in the left corner. Gets herself back into the serving box. Second game, Montse won the first game. Paola serving 3 serves 5. Z serve. Point Paola Longoria, 4 serves 5. It's closest she's been this match since the beginning of the match. Looks like she's finding an answer.
All right, Freddie, I'm back. What I missed?
Just trading side outs. I think Paola's trying to figure Montse out. She seems to be pushing herself up towards the front middle, and it's paying off for her during the rallies. So she just tied it up. It's 5 up. Montse calls her first time out of the game.
So Paola's probably going to stay on the court here since she's got some momentum. She doesn't want to leave. And floor must be a little bit wet. Gloria's taking a second here to mop up the floor.
Montse taking a timeout here. She's on her phone, probably with a coach. Looks like she's listening to a message left for her. That's pretty cool that like the players can remotely communicate with their coaches, you know, who are watching online. Okay, it looks like Paola is saying that the floor is pretty wet. It is humid here in the club in Syosset. The club works really hard to try to kind of like maintain. They brought in some humidifiers, but it still can get pretty humid, especially with the crowd. It's a packed house tonight here in Syosset. Rightly so, with the IRT and the LPRT here, plus the mixed doubles. It looks like TJ's doing the work. I feel bad because I should be out there doing it, but she grabbed it. She grabbed the mic. She grabbed the mop. Yeah, some music to play during this would be pretty cool. Watching the president and commissioner of the LPRT just pull double duty. Well, I got to say, this definitely works in Paola's favor. I think Montse has been playing very steady, fully confident, not overthinking playing. But this definitely has to be working on her in terms of, okay, realizing where she is in the match and then knowing that she's playing well and then feeling the pressure from Paola, just tying it up in this second game. So for her, this is a key moment in this match, in my opinion. And we're back. Paola in the serving box, serving 5-5. Second game here in Syosset.
That was a great get by Montse.
Yeah.
Longoria puts it away, though. Good rally.
Yeah, I was just saying that a long time out like this is definitely in Paola's favor. I mean, you know, Montse has been playing steady. You know, now that she has a little time to think about where she is, and Paola like gained the momentum after the last few points, she has to be like maybe overthinking or trying to figure out kind of like, okay, how do I stop Paola right now?
I think the referee called that last one an ace serve.
Yeah, Paola definitely with the momentum here. Buries that in the left corner. Back in the service box. 8 serves, 5. Paola over Mejia. Second game. TJ, this place is packed. And
It is.
that definitely has to kind of make an effect on how humid it is here, because it's warmed up.
That, and it took me twice as long to go get the mop because I had to work my way through standing room only crowd.
Paola in the serving box. 8 serves 5. Trading ceiling balls. And Montse buries that from the back left corner. Little fist pump. Back in the serving box. Trying to gear herself up to try to get the momentum back. Paola's just feeling it right now.
Yeah, a little luck there. She caught the crack on that side wall.
Yeah. Paola moving Montse around. Nice get by Montse. Another one.
Wow.
Putting the pressure on her. Wow. Paola back in the box.
It seems like the player that wins most of the rally is the one that occupies that center court most, which if you look at kind of general strategy for racquetball, it sounds so simple.
Yeah. Yeah, Paola definitely started pushing herself up and kind of like driving it around. And you can see that Montse in this game is the one that's kind of like chasing.
And I would say the opposite of that first game.
Yeah.
Really, Montse seemed to control center court, really kept herself up there in the front where she had such effective touch shots into both corners.
Yeah. You could almost see how deliberate Paola's being with that.
Short serve.
Wow, great return. Once it finds herself back in the box, what do you think she needs to do now to kind of like regain momentum?
Well, I would go back to that simple strategy, keeping Longoria moving side to side, keeping her in those back corners.
Yeah.
I think Longoria was questioning whether a shot skipped there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, she thought it was a good ball.
You know, one of the many things I really like about Montse's game is how well she cuts the ball off and really she has such great control. She pushes the ball back and back until she gets to set up to shoot.
Yeah, and then when she's calm. Looks like they're appealing the serve being an avoidable.
Hinder. Yeah.
And apparently she wins the appeal.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I thought that was definitely a straight-in shot there for Longoria. It was a good use of. It was a good appeal.
Yeah, definitely a good appeal. I mean, I can see how Ana Laura might have just called that as a redo because Paola was a little bit over to the right. So from that perspective, maybe she thought she could have hit it to the right side. But good appeal.
But that's why the line judges are here.
Yeah.
I mean, they help out the referee.
Montse in the box, 6 serves 9. I'm going to see if I can get an update on court 4. Cristina Amaya's playing Nancy Enriquez.
Another appeal here. Longoria was asking for a penalty hinder again. She doesn't get it that time.
Wow.
Tough.
Yeah, she's feeling it. I think she's got a swing back. She knows what she wants to do in this game. calls a timeout.
Oh.
Interesting. And we're back. I got an update on court 4. Christina Maya is playing Nancy Enriquez. Christina is up 2 games to 1, I believe, Nancy, and she's up. Trying to get a confirmation on that score. Looks like Christina takes the match in 3.
It's a good win for Christina.
That's a great win for Christina.
She's been playing well lately.
She recently moved to Mexico.
Chihuahua.
Yeah, Chihuahua. And she just got in a club with a lot of really up and coming young players, and she was expressing how it's really good for her because she gets court time with these really good players, and it's been lifting her game. So good for her.
Yeah. Just back to this match a little bit here before they were wiping off the wall. There was an appeal. Montse had an appeal. She held up. Longoria was in the way. I thought it was a pretty obvious penalty. One line judge agreed, one disagreed, so the call stood. It was as a replay, not a penalty.
Oh. So let's see how Mejia answers. 9 serve 6.
I thought that serve
I
was
thought it was
short.
too. Left that up, and that's a mistake. You can't do that at this point. I think she's starting to second guess herself, Mejia. She doesn't seem as sure as she did the first game in terms of shot selection and kind of what she wants to do.
Yeah, and Paola stepped up her game a little bit. She's definitely keeping the pressure on Mejia.
That'll do it. But gets back in the box, driving that down the left side.
Mejia saved game point there. 6 serving 10 for Mejia.
Paola back in the box. Paola serving 10 serve 6 to take the second game. Try serve short. Second serve. She leaves that up.
So Longoria thought she had a great shot, and
Montse held up.
That the rally was over. Referee thought that Montse Mejia. So Paula's going to appeal.
The replay. Wow. Montse clearly held up on that.
Well, yeah, I was going to say Longoria was definitely in her way.
Right.
I mean.
All right, well, the ball kicked out off the back wall, so I'm thinking Paola thought, and she ends the match right there.
The game. So
The
we're
game.
tied up
That's right.
at 1 game apiece. We'll take a 90-second break and we'll be back for game 3.
I'm Holly Scott, I'm 20 years old, and I'm from Seattle, Washington. I've been playing racquetball for about 15 years. My dad started because I didn't like the daycare at the gym, so I was very bored and I needed to go play racquetball. It's my calling. I love the LPRT. I get to travel, meet new people, work on my Spanish, and it's just a great experience and everyone should experience it. Reaching your dream foundation is really important to me because it helps me travel, to get experience, to do better. In racquetball and in life, they teach you to do things professionally, on and off the court. My goal is to be #1. Obviously, same with everybody. It's difficult, but with their help, I can work for it every single tournament and get better. Donations are greatly appreciated, no matter how big or small. It helps players like me reach our dream.
All right, we're back in.
We're back.
This is game 3. These players are tied at 1 game apiece.
Montse holding up. Definitely appealing, the fact that she held up her swing. She thought Paola was clearly in her way. Safety issue.
All right, that's a good assistance from the line judges. So line judges overturned the side out call made by the referee, so that it turned out to be a replay.
There's a question in the chat box. Who's the referee?
The referee is Ana Laura Flores. She's a young player who just lost against Alexandra Herrera.
Yeah. In her defense, she's got a lot of court time. She's been showing up to a number of LPRT stops this season. It really is tough with these kinds of players. I mean, you know, it's like a lot of these calls are pretty close. I mean, they can go either way.
Yeah, I think, in my opinion, I think reffing is just like playing racquetball. You need experience doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, the LPRT rules is that you lose a match and you ref the next pro match until we get to the quarterfinals. So the more experience these players have at reffing, the better they'll be, and actually it will help them in their own games. Unfortunately, somebody young like Ana Laura, I think, is not confident as a ref yet.
Right.
But that's why we have the line judges. We have 2 good line judges here helping her out.
Yeah, that's a good case in point, I think. You know, this is part of the overall experience these young players are getting.
Yes.
Professionally speaking, I mean, it's tough. You have someone like as seasoned as Paola, who is, you know, just as good as applying pressure, you know, to a referee.
Yes.
It's invaluable. Montse, it looks like she's coming out pretty strong this third game. She's up 3, serving 1 in the box.
So Mejia is saying that was a 2-bounce get on Longoria. Both line judges agreed with the referee, so that call stands. They thought Longoria got the ball in one bounce. So
this is an interesting turn to this match. I mean, you know, they're split 1 game apiece. You know, they're both kind of like, you know, feeling it, and you can see in their responses to the calls. It's like every call matters to them.
well, and I also think neither one of them have a lot of confidence in the referee right now. So they're appealing a lot of calls.
Oh, they're feeling it. You know, I think both players are understanding.
I think they're going to come ask for a new
Yeah,
ref.
they're both here it comes. All right, so it looks like we're into a timeout. We'll be right back as we try to find a replacement ref. Hold on 1 second. All right. Looks like we're back, and we found a new ref. Many of you may know who he is, Thomas Carter, IRT player. He's been gracious enough to come in and assist us with what's going on. TJ bringing him up to speed.
All right, we're back in after a momentary replacement of the referee. Like I said, she's a young player, although she's a talented up-and-coming pro. She's still kind of new to reffing, so we got a replacement for her.
Now back to the business of playing. Paola lays one out right on the right side. Steps into the box. 2 serving 3.
This is game 3. These players are tied 1 game apiece.
Three serves 3, Paola. So TJ, that's kind of like an interesting time in between points. What do you think this does to the players? How would you think it affects them individually?
As far as resting while I went and replaced the referee,
Well, like who would advantage? Who would have the advantage in something like this? You know, there's been a significant amount of time in between points. Paula just scored a point, 4-3. She just took the lead.
at this point in the match, I would think a rest would benefit either one. If we were at game 5 and they were all out, I might give the edge to well, the edge to Paula in terms of fitness.
Right.
And in a game like game 5, Montse may benefit more from having a break like this. At this point, it's so close in game 3, and they're already tied 1-1.
Right. Yeah, I would tend to think that something like this, only because of her experience, has to fall in Paola's favor. I mean, she's been through this. You know, Montse is the one that came out strong, and she was playing steady, and like Paola's putting pressure on her to rethink kind of like what she was doing. Yeah, I would have to think that something like this definitely falls in Paola's favor. But you never know. Montse's tough. She's, you know.
3 serving 5. Oh, she got lucky on that one.
Yeah, no, she's got soft hands. She was able to kind of like realize where she was, and she kind of like punched it in the right corner.
She was jammed though.
Yeah, yeah.
No room to swing, nothing.
Yeah.
Quick side out for Longoria. Longoria gets back in the box at 5, serving 3. Might be a good time for a timeout by Mejia, just to slow down the 3 or 4 quick points that Longoria.
Yeah, get her bearings back after that long timeout. Yeah. 6 serves 3, Paola in the box. 3rd game.
And there's the timeout.
Yeah, she heard you.
We'll take a break. We'll be back in 45 seconds. Welcome back. Game 3, Longoria leads here 7-3 over Montse Mejia.
Great serve.
Yeah, Mejia actually took a step left first. Very, very deceptive serve there by Longoria.
Way to compose herself after that serve. She just kind of like easily puts it in the left corner, finds herself in the box, but she's got to get back in this game. I mean, she's serving at 3-8. Paola's clearly playing solidly. And Paola makes her pay for leaving it up. Back in the box, 8 serves 3. What a rally.
You know, I also almost thought Mejia gave up on that. She thought she had Longoria and she stopped.
Yeah, she thought it was over.
She had to hustle to get across to that ball.
She made a great get after that. I mean, she recovered nicely, considering that she, she finished the play a little early on that.
Yeah.
Kudos to Paola for making her play that through. In the box, 4 serves 8. First point in a while from Montse, something she sorely needed.
Diving get by Mejia.
Oh,
Almost does it again.
almost. Moving her around.
I'm not questioning that the floor is not wet. Obviously, we've had a lot of wet ball serves. It's very dangerous. But at the same time, that can be a strategy for players in a really close tight match. Is saying, hey, the floor is wet, and taking the time, catching their breath.
Oh yeah, for
wiping
sure.
the floor.
There's definitely some gamesmanship in that. I mean, Paola's the one that called for that after she makes this point, 9 serves 4. But Paola called for initially made the gesture for the floor wipe. And Montse took advantage. She took her time, made her think about it. But Paola scores a point right after that, and they're trading. Montse skips. Feeling a little frustrated.
Yeah, it's the first I really saw that, other than the frustration with the referee, that we were replaced. That's the first I've really seen that frustrated look from Montse Mejia.
Yeah. Paola in the box. Game point, 10 serves 4. Third game here in Syosset, New York.
Short serve.
At the Syosset Open. And Paola closes it out.
She goes up 2-1 over Montse Mejia. Yeah, I was going to say, wow, do we have the score?
Yeah, ladies.
I didn't even know that the game was over. All right, the
We'll
players
be right back.
will get a little break and we'll do the same. We'll be back here live in Syosset. We're back.
We're back. I got an update on Court 4. Frederic Lambert is playing in this tournament
Yeah,
after
this
like a
is
long layoff, right?
yeah, we haven't seen her since the fall. This is the first event for her in 2019.
Well, she's currently on court number 4 in her first game against Adrian Riveros, and she's currently leading 7-5.
So Frederic Lambert is officially graduated from medical school.
Kudos, Frederic.
So now we'll call her Dr. Lambert.
Doctor's in the house on court 4 in the lead. And we're back. Paola in the serving box just scored the first point of game number 4. 1-0, short serve.
And yes, that was Jillian Cobb helping us out with the floor.
Thank you, Jillian.
Yeah, it's nice to have a lot of support around here.
Yeah, Jillian's awesome.
As well as at home. Thank you all for watching and following along with the LPRT at home.
So what do you think? I think Montse is totally capable of kind of coming back after this. I remember them playing at the U.S. Open this past U.S. Open, where Paola had a significant lead on her, and she just pushed her. I think they might have even gone 5 games.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it before. I never count a player out. I think both of these players are mentally tough. They're both physically capable, obviously extremely talented players. You know, Montse has had a lot of success in juniors. She's the current junior world champion, also the Mexican champion.
Current junior world champion and Mexican champion in the box. 0 serves 1. Little towel wipe. Montse chooses a half lob to the right side, wins that rally, shows a little patience.
So we have a question out here. Who's covering the pro mixed doubles streaming? And the answer to that is both. LPT and IRT will be matches. We'll have 2 pro mixed matches coming up after this round of 16 singles LPRT match.
Right, and later into the draw, probably tomorrow, we'll be moving to the main court. So our players, IRT players, and the mixed matches will be on the main court here in Syosset. It's a big open glass court. Great club.
They refer to it as the fishbowl.
The fishbowl.
Replay hinder called after a jump from Montse. Obviously a judgment call on that. Longoria is going to, oh, she's still asking for.
Yeah, Longoria's really having an issue with that wet floor.
Right, and Montse doesn't seem to be having the same problem.
Right, she showed a little frustration there. This was the gamesmanship that we talked about last game. You know, definitely comes into play. You know, Paola's really confident. She's up a game here. You know, it's in her interest to kind of like, you know, give Montse time to think about everything that's going on.
Yeah, Montse's got to be careful not to let that get to her and stay focused.
Right. I'll tell you, Montse definitely has the tools. She's, wow.
Yeah, I was surprised actually that Montse held up on that. I thought she had plenty of room.
Yeah, she could have.
Paola was to the left. She could have hit it down the right side.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I mean, you know, she probably traded a point for, you know, but in her defense, I mean, she's thinking solidly, and she didn't react adversely to the fact that there wasn't a avoidable call. She just like kind of like turned around. But Paola scores a point that last rally in the box. 2 serves 1.
You know, back to our mixed doubles, we'll have Paola Longoria, who's paired up with Rodrigo Montoya, will be next up on this court. So Paola and Rodrigo will play Brenda Laime and Set Cubillos.
Can you see? Can I see? Cubillos. Yes,
Yeah,
Cubillos.
Set Cubillos.
Yeah, the L is a Y.
I said Cubillos. Cubillos.
Cubillos.
Cubillos.
Cubillos. There you go. Perfect.
Yeah. Following that match, we'll have Jake Bredenbach, who's paired up with Jasmine Sabha. That'll be a good team.
Yeah, they're both really strong players.
Excellent doubles players.
Paola looking for an avoidable there.
Call stands as a replay.
Paola back in the box, 3 serves 1. We were mentioning that Yasmin is playing with Jake Bredenbach. For those of you who know Jake Bredenbach, he's a very hard hitter. Teamed up with Yasmin, it's going to be pretty interesting.
Yeah, they will take on Adriana Riveros and Eduardo Garay.
Wow.
Also should be a good match.
Team from Colombia.
Yes. You know what, I have to say there's not a bad match in here in the round of 16s for the pro mix.
No, not at all. Paola in the box, 3 serves 1. Short serve.
So this is a place that Montse needs to be. She needs to maintain that center court, front court position. That's where she's had the most success. So unforced error there. She pushed the ball into the side wall.
Yeah, she's got to go back to maybe moving Paola a little bit on the serve. But Paola's playing solidly right now.
You know, the last time these two played, Paola lost, so you know she's extra focused.
Right.
Coach Fran has done extra work looking at past matches, looking at that match she lost at the Mexican Nationals.
Right. I like the fact that Montse stepped up to hit that early. I just think that, you know, the pressure's starting to show a little bit. Mishitting that. But she buries that, and hopefully she can turn this around. Steps into the box, 1 serves 4. Wow, Paola started that whole rally with a really good return that moved Montse out of the box and just kind of took over that rally. But you're right, I think, you know, Montse has to find a way to kind of like own that front court.
I think Longoria knows that too. She's been hitting a lot of passes, a lot of wraparounds, a lot of straight down the line shots.
See, I like that for Montse, but she's got to find a way to either like move her out, maybe not go so wide on the cross court, or maybe down the line on that, get her out and step in. Who knows? It's tough. Paola serving 5-1.
Oh,
Montse
she
slips.
slips on a wet floor right there.
This might be an issue. Yeah, that's got to be frustrating.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than playing on a slippery or wet floor. But
So Montse steps off the court. Did she call a timeout, or is it she's just like kind of?
frustrated.
Yeah, no, I hear her. I mean, who wouldn't be? Hi to Gabby Martinez. We miss you. Gabby Martinez in the chat box. Looks like we're having trouble with the floor. The towel doesn't seem to be working. Maybe a fresh towel. Yeah, Gabby, we miss you. Kind of hoping you reconsider, but kudos to you. And good luck. Make sure you come visit us sometime. All right, and we're back to playing. Paola Longoria in the box. Game number 4 here in Syosset. 6 serving 1. Paola up 2 games to 1. Montse in the box. 1 serve 6. Screen. Screen called. Montse motioning that might have been a web ball. Half lob to the right side. Paola. Yeah, Montse is seems to be a little bit out of her game. Paola put it right in the middle, and Montse kind of overstepped and tried to hit it with a backhand. Paola back in the box, 6 serves 1. Paola tracking herself in the center of the court. She slipped a little bit, but was able to kind of like adjust and finish that rally, but obviously frustrated.
And they both are. I
Yeah,
understand. I
yeah.
mean, this is just one of those things that's just out of our control. The walls at this club are just very damp. It's humid here.
Like we mentioned before, there are a lot of people. I mean, we even have trouble just standing up, getting out of our seats.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
it's packed. It's a packed house here.
But
You know?
yeah, as I walked away, you said hello to Gabby Martinez. I also want to say a hello. And Gabby, we miss you. We hope you're doing very well.
Yeah, I was saying we missed her. Made it a point to tell her she's got.
All right. Sorry for the lapse there. If you missed a moment of the game. There's so much going on in this club that there has been a couple power outages actually. So this is game number 4. Paola Longoria leading 2 games to 1 over Montse Mejia. Montse Mejia is in the box currently in the pink shirt. trying to fight back. She's serving at 2-9. Oh, Paola just slid too, trying to get that ball. She slid twice, yeah. And just in that rally, she slid twice. Right. The referee's waving the door, trying to get some airflow in there. Reset. Well, just to go get a dry towel. I mean, it took me, I don't know how long. I mean, it's the standing room here at this club is just, it's packed. Yeah, so that ball to me looked like it was going to come up off the back wall. So Mejia had an opportunity to get it.
Right.
Longoria thought there was no way.
Right.
Even her coach Fran said appeal, but I mean I thought that was an obvious replay.
Right. Well, she's up 9-3. It's the 4th game. She's up 2 games. You know, it's probably in her best interest to kind of like play it through and keep control. But now that she's slipping, she might start like showing some frustration.
Well, the other side of it is it's wet for both players.
Right.
They're on the same surface, playing in the same court, same conditions.
Right.
Unfortunately, it can be a little unsafe when they're sliding like that, but
Right.
you know, in an event like this, it's really hard. I mean, there's not much else we can do.
Right. We'll see her choosing to stay on the court during the timeout. Kind of hit around. Our referee, Thomas Carter, kind of making a walkthrough, checking the walls, wiping it down. Kudos. Thank you to him for stepping in what was a pretty tough match earlier with the referee, between the players and the referee, so grateful to him.
For serving 9.
Paola back in the box. To answer a comment in the chat, yeah, in between games, we actually had somebody go out and do a full floor wipeout.
Yeah, twice.
Twice. We're doing what we can. It's just the conditions that we're playing in. Sometimes, you know, clubs have issues. There are certain trade-offs to playing in venues like this, you know. On the one hand, there are like tons of people. It's a great event. We have both tours here. You know, these are just some of the issues we have to play through. Right now, Paola in the box. 9 serving 4. Yeah, they're both checking their steps.
Yeah, I think it makes a difference too when a club has one of the racquetball court walls as an outside wall. I think that's the scenario that leads to wet walls. So all the front walls here, not all except for the glass court, are all exterior walls. Mejia serving again at 5,
I'm
9.
not quite sure what you mean by exterior walls.
So the front wall up here, on the other side, it's the outside. So that wall is an exterior wall.
Oh, it's a main like load-bearing wall, kind of like.
Well, just outside.
Yeah,
If you
outside,
walk through that, if you walk through the front wall, you'd be outside.
You'd be outside. Okay. So it's hard concrete, and then as opposed to the side
and the
walls.
outdoors.
Oh, all right.
So the temperature difference
Seeps
on
through.
that front wall makes a difference.
I agree with that. Makes tons of sense. And right now, Mejia in the box, 6 serving 9, trying to fight her way through this game. Send this match into a 5-game match. Mejia holds up and is looking for the avoidable. She wants to appeal that.
Appeal. Yeah, I don't know. It looks like she had space. I mean, I get why she held up a follow through maybe.
Right.
But it was also a setup on her forehand. I mean, to me, why not take the shot?
Yeah, no. Something similar happened before where she was like holding up. And she had Paola a little bit out of position too. Could have moved it over to the right. But she scores a point. Much needed momentum here. She's in the box, 7 serving 9. 4th game here in Syosset. Down 1 game to 2 to Paola Longoria, current world number 1.
And that serve is short. So second serve coming up, 7 serving 9. Game 4. Skip ball. We're now back to a 1-point game.
1-point game. Timeout. Good timeout.
Yeah, Montse Mejia is really fighting her way back here in game 4.
Yeah.
She was down quite a bit. I'm going to say it was 8-2.
Yeah, little by little. I like the fact that she's in the court, not losing focus. You know, she knows she has a little momentum. She's like thinking the game plan out. I can smell the smoke.
Right, stay in there, focus, concentrate. Don't come out and take a break and let yourself kind of back off a little. Keep the pressure on.
I like that. The players have in their 3 used appeals.
Sorry, Freddie.
Yeah, it's okay. Got unplugged. Kudos to Jerry Josie for keeping us running in these trying conditions.
OPRT IT director.
Jerry Josie keeping the lights on for us, keeping our cameras rolling, keeping our internet up even when it's a little sketchy. Thank you. And staying in the court pays
Just like
off.
that,
I mean,
we're tied.
Yeah, just like that, 9-9,
Yeah.
making it interesting. Reminds me of the U.S. Open last year. Paola looking for a game point. Wow, this changes things dramatically.
Appealing again. Call stands.
Paola's 2 points
so,
away.
Yeah,
and
as you
just
were
couldn't do it.
starting to mention each player gets 3 used appeals. So if they appeal and the referee's call is overturned, that appeal does not count against them.
Right.
If the call stands.
Wow, what an interesting turn to this game.
Yeah.
Paola, who had most of the control, and the game is over. Montse sends it to 5 games. Wow.
Just what everybody wanted. I
Wow.
mean.
All right, we're back. Sorry for the interruption, folks. Again, another power issue. We're running humidifiers in the club, and it looks like we're on the same circuit. So had to readjust the circuit and kind of remove the humidifiers. So hopefully that solved the issue. But we're back in the fifth game. Update on court four. Frederic Lambert playing Adrian Riveros. One game apiece. Going into the third game, 0-0. Paola first on the board.
Yeah, Longoria scores point number one serving 0. Boy, this match has been a battle so far. I mean, really.
I'm really impressed with Montse that last game. I mean, she had every reason to kind of like fall out of the match. Longoria had, had the momentum, and even with the issues with the floor, she remained calm, and she kind of found a way back at the end of the game to take that game. I mean, the level of play here is tremendous. But Paola jumps out to an early lead this fifth game, 3-0.
Both players just really fighting to win this match. Big skip there by Longoria, side out. Mejia gets in the box, serving at 0-3. This game, game 5, will also be to 11, win by 2.
Half lob to the right side. Paola moves her out to center, but she finds her way back to the front.
Actually, yeah, it actually looks like there's some wet balls off this during the rally too, and the players really have to stay on their toes and adjust to that. But a wet ball is only, I mean, as far as replay, is only called on serve. It's first surface hit off of the front wall.
Well, they're playing like professionals. I mean, it's like they're playing in adverse conditions. They're both kind of like making adjustments to their footwork. How do you say that? Like plural for two people?
Footwork. I like that. You may have created a new word.
Wow, great get.
Oh,
and the slip, and it pays off. And look, she's like looking back. See, that's dangerous. She's clearly frustrated with that, and as she should be.
Well, yes.
And no.
But you know what? At the same time,
they're both playing on.
They're both playing in it, and Montse's doing a much better job here of really focusing and not letting that get to her.
Right.
I think as the more and more Paola has gotten frustrated with it, her brother actually came on the court there, and I think he said something to her along those lines, like, hey, you got to focus on the match.
Right.
Forget about that. You know, you're both playing under those conditions.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, it plays into kind of like the strategy for the game starting off. They, you know, the player that moves their opponent first usually has an advantage in this match, especially. And Montse is just kind of like, adjusting her feet and kind of understanding that it's a movement game. And Paola too, but she just took a bad spill right there. She's still up though, 4-0.
Right, and here's where Montse also has to not let Paola's frustration get to her.
Right.
You know, Paola's the one asking for a lot of towels out there, really slowing down play.
Right.
So Montse also has to stay focused.
Right. You can see her, like if you look at her, she's like encouraging
annoyed.
herself, talking. Well, no, look at her. She's walking around. She's talking to herself. She's like reminding herself of the things that she has to do. This is when she has to do it. But she kind of left that up. Paola, right to business. Taking advantage, jumping right in. Good time.
Yeah, I think I actually thought Montse was going to call an appeal on that one, but instead she called a timeout.
Right. Well, I think it's a good timeout for her. I mean, she wasn't going to get that appeal. Paola's up 5-0, fifth game. She has to reset.
Paola's brother in here talking to her, walked right in front of Coach Fran to talk to Paola.
Yeah. Yeah. Franny, step aside. I know what I'm
Yeah,
doing.
yeah,
I'll take it from here.
yeah. When she's acting like this, you have to say A, B, and C.
All the towels are wet, Federico. Yeah, I agree. We're having some issues with the court, but the players are being professional. They're playing through it. You know, it makes it interesting. They're both playing on the same court right now. Paola jumps out to a 6-0 lead, 4 points away, 5 points away. Sorry, I forgot it's 11. Okay.
You ran out of fingers.
Yeah, that's right. You want a J's.
So that's a short serve. So second serve coming up. You know, this happens. Last 2 years ago, at an event in Chihuahua, Mexico, we had a glass court set up on top of a clay tennis court. And the court was so slippery from clay.
Yeah.
You know what? The players just had to adjust to it. There
Right.
wasn't any place else we could go. We were already there. We weren't going to cancel the event. And, you know, we just added a rule that the players could come out when they needed to and wipe off their shoes for safety.
Right. It is the ladies' professional racquetball too. You know, part of being a professional is kind of like understanding where your conditions are and playing through and kind of like thinking through your game. So kudos to the players. Right now we're at 6-0. Paola with a nice lead. Short call. Montse trying to fight her way back into this game after coming from behind in game 4 to send us into this 5th game. Paolo's able to jump early. I like her stepping on that early. She's got to put some pressure. Looking for a wet ball. See, I like Paola doing that too. Kind of like the players are recognizing that they have to be the first ones forcing the rallies. They're both stepping up on their serve.
Race the player out of the center and take control.
Paola staying focused, pointing at another spot. Montse talking to herself. Very interesting. Like, I don't put it by Montse to kind of like just fire off a few points to throw herself right back into this game. And she definitely has a skill.
It happened in game 4.
Yeah.
Mejia was way down. It was at least 8-2 for match. I mean, Paola was 3 points away from winning the whole match. And Montse came back.
Yeah. And calmly takes that return, moves Paola from the center, makes her reach, you know. Probably understanding that they both kind of have to watch their footwork, not their feet work. There it is.
Just chipping away.
Two unanswered rallies by Montse. She's on the board, 1 serve 6. That's what she needs right now. A couple of like steady points to kind of build up her confidence. She steadied herself again. Wow. She definitely had a chance at that. Don't agree with that call.
So Montse appealed the serve, and line judges overturned that call. So second serve.
Well, I guess she's getting the last point back. Wow, she needed that back in the serving box. Montse Mejia in the serving box, game 5, playing Paola Longoria here at Syosset, the Syosset Open in Syosset, New York. Replay. Good call, in my opinion. Wow.
2 shots from
Wow.
the knees. And a
3.
diving get.
Oh!
3 diving gets.
Crazy. Oh! Wow. Get the towel ready, Thomas. What an awesome rally. I tell you, Montse has just got so much potential. She's so good.
And already, I mean, well accomplished for her age.
Oh, yeah. She's only going to get so much better, though. My goodness.
Somebody that I think the more time she has on tour playing at this level, she will just shoot up.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, taking the number 1 ranked player followed to 5 games.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, she's got history. She's got the win in nationals. You know, it's not the first time she's taken Paola to 5 games like this. Wow, looks like the floor is playing like a really critical role in this match, both in pace and how long the match is going. Both players being hyper aware of how slippery it is out there. Paola trying to stay focused, hitting the ball.
You guys walk somewhere? Or you bring that out in my car? That's what you got this. I know all about it.
Okay, it looks like we're gonna try to do something about the floor again. Try to remop the floor or re-wipe the floor. For those of you tuning in late, we're in the 5th game. Paola Longoria versus Montse Mejia. Game number 5. Paola Longoria leads 6-1.
See, look at all the Quest stuff. These two are the best. Yeah. They're expensive.
All right, new towel. Courtesy of Service Master.
A box of them. You have one more. An 8-pack.
One of the title sponsors here at
So a little more than $2.
main sponsors here at the Syosset Open here in Syosset, New York.
Right.
Thank you to them. All right, back to the match. Back to the action. Paola, 5th game, serving 6-1 against Montse Mejia. Drive serve to the right. Great get. Wow. Exchanging ceiling balls on the left side. Oh, she almost got that one too. Good rally. We'll try to get you an update on court number 4 with Lambert. All right, 6 serving 10. Frederic is behind game 3. All right, game 3. 6 serving 10. Frederic Lambert is playing Adrian Riveros. They're both tied at a game each. Frederic, her first event this second half of the LPRT season.
First event at 19 after graduating medical school.
That's right. Congratulations, Dr. Frederic. Is it Dr. Frederic or Dr. Lambert?
Lambert, yeah, Dr. Lambert.
And while we were talking about Freddie, Paola scores another point to make this 7 serving 1 in the final game of this match. Wow, that's a great shot. Seems like Paola was able to fight through just a little bit better in terms of like all the disruptions we've been having during this match. 8 serves 1.
There's an orange one.
Oh,
Replay.
referee calls a replay.
Oh. Wow. Paola just putting on the heat, moving Montse around.
Yeah, Longoria really taking control of this last game after a
serves
battle.
one.
I mean, these first 4 games, what an impressive run. I mean, obviously it's not over yet, but an impressive run by young player Montse Mejia.
Who just skipped it from the back right corner, and Paola in the box with her first match point of the match.
The round of 16.
Got stuck there.
Serve is short, second serve.
All right, second serve, match point, Paola Longoria. Wow, Comrie takes it, and we have a match.
Opportunity there.
Yes.
Wow, what a great match by both these ladies.
Awesome, awesome match.
Thank you all for watching us here live in the Syosset Open in Syosset, New York.
Thank you.
Stay tuned. About 15 minutes or so, we'll be back with our first mixed pro doubles match. Paola Longoria will be back on the court with partner Rodrigo Montoya. So we'll see you back here live in about 15 minutes.